This is KHQA Overtime with Chris Dewar. Brought to you by Con Communications. This is KHQA. It's your news now.
Well, this is Saturday, May 26th, and you have entered this especially busy Memorial Day weekend's worth of overtime. My name is Chris Dewar, and I'll be your Buzz Lightyear, if you will. This was a day rife with historic possibilities and the potential of crowning new champions on so many different fronts. None, however, could leave a more indelible legacy than that of the Quincy Notre Dame Lady Raiders soccer team, aiming to make IHSA history by producing a state title in all 3 seasons of the school year. In the fall, it was volleyball. In the winter, a basketball repeat. And on tap tonight, it was Mark Longo's soccer squad's time to complete the Raiders slam, if you will. Second half, 59 minutes in, Quincy Notre Dame finally breaks through against Mantino. And to Mantino's credit, this was a pretty good defensive team, but Shannon Foley, actually check that, Cassidy Foley comes free somewhere in that scrum and punches that ball home to make it a 1-0 lead. After a Hannah Thomas goal, which you won't see a few minutes later, this is Jordan Frericks on just an absolutely beautiful run to punctuate history, making it a 3-0 ball game at that point. Quincy Notre Dame scoring 3 goals in 12 minutes time, and that, my friends, is good enough to earn you a state championship. My goodness, Quincy Notre Dame, embarrassment of riches championship-wise. They get the job done, beating Mantino 3-0 and completing the perfect season at 28. And congratulations to Quincy Notre Dame. Our man Ross Green was on the scene, and coming up tomorrow night at 10:20 has a special tribute to the Lady Raiders and their stranglehold on greatness, not just in soccer, but in all sports. This unbelievable school year. You will see that coming up tomorrow at 10:20 with Ross Green. Soccer news not so good, however, on the boys front for Holy Trinity, as the Crusaders can't find their offense today, losing in the sub-state semifinals. That to West Liberty, 1-0 was your final there. Much better news in track and field. We take you to Charleston. Class 2A 4x100-meter relay. James Jackson, Reggie Bratton, Ricky Nieves, and this guy, Nick Schipple, the only senior, leads Jacksonville to a state record 41.67 in the 4x100 meter. They win the title. They would have won any class with that time, but we're not done with Jacksonville. Middle of your screen, the aforementioned Reggie Bratton, just a junior, running away from everyone in the 100, winning at a time of 10.63. Nick Schipple finished 4th in that event as well. How about Rushville Industries' Dalton Plummer? Boy, he's good as well. 14.6 today in the pole vault. Good for 3rd place, along with Christian Locke's state championship. Been a good year for pole vaulters in the Tri-State as well. Let's take a look at some other track and field results. First of all, in Class 1A, Alex Walter takes 4th place in the triple jump, while Alex Blickhand out of Menden Unity can't quite match his performance up in Macomb, but still phenomenal. Gets points for his team and finishes 8th overall in the state. Congratulations to the Alexes. Moving up to Class 2, Darius Thomas with an upset today out of Macomb, pulling away and finishing 2nd. Nearly got himself a state championship in the 800, but really ran incredibly well. And the story of the day, Jacksonville, who finished 3rd as a team in Illinois Class 2A, led by Devontae Clark, who finished 5th in the high jump. We told you that Jacksonville was just plain fast. We showed it to you in the 4x1. We showed it to you in the 100. In the 200, it was no different as well. A pair of top 5 finishes for the Crimsons there, as James Jackson ends up finishing 3rd. Nick Schipple, who'll be playing in the Do or Die Bowl, again, the only senior on that team, finished 4th. The story of the day, speed. The story of the day, Reggie Bratton as well.
This win feels so good. Can't even explain.
Yeah, Reggie didn't have a whole lot to say because he was pretty excited. As well he should be. By the way, outstanding wide receiver as well. I'm not sure there's a defensive back in the state of Illinois quick enough to cover that young man. So good stuff coming from Mark Grounds going forward as well. Great day as well for Mark St. Clair and the Hannibal Pirate boys. They end up finishing 3rd in Class 3 in Missouri. Lots of big finishes today. Let's take a look at some of the individuals, including Brady Novak, who finished 5th in the mile today. Markel Strickland also with a 5th place finish. That in the 110-meter hurdles. Jake Crenshaw, maybe not the weekend he wanted to have after winning a state championship last year, but 2 top 5 finishes, actually check that, top 10 finishes in throwing events, including an 8th place in the shot put today, none too shabby, and the Pirate Relay team showed up pretty well against great competition, picking up a 4th place finish in the 4x2 and a 6th place finish in the 4x1. Outstanding stuff track and field wise across the board, and you know what? We're finally done with track and field. It's been that kind of season. but it's been a good one. Let's go to softball now, where the Payson Seymour Lady Indians were bound and determined to play their way back into their home diamond for Monday's Super Sectional. To get there, Carl Asbury's crew would have to beat Abingdon and ace pitcher Beep Jones, yes, her name really is Beep, on its home field in the sectional championship game this morning. A mission that started off on the right foot thanks to Kristen Luce, channeling her inner Ricky Henderson and leading off the game with a home run. Now, I'd love to show you that highlight, but at that point I was channeling my inner Chuck D and fighting the power because the man would not allow media of any type reasonable access to videotape the game. Well played, IHSA. Well played indeed. And I will warn you in advance, if any of these highlights look bumpy or shaky, it's probably because I kept bumping my camera into poor Ben Morris' neck in the 19th centimeter fence opening we both had to occupy today. We're not small guys. Didn't make it easy. Carl Asbury's team, though, did not shrink from the challenge. How about this? Cheyenne Bowman pitching with a lead. She's just darn good. Strikeout fest for her, including a statement strikeout on Beep Jones to start the game, then a second one to close out that first frame. Second inning, different batter, same result for Shy Bo, who had herself 10 strikeouts of the day, only allowed 5 hits, none of them until the fourth inning. Commandos with a runner aboard, bunt attempt thwarted. Lead runner tries to get too aggressive. Carl Asbury had that scouted. I heard him say it in practice this week, and Payson tags out the advanced base runner. That's Shy Bo at the other end of that and doing well as Payson Seymour gets out of that jam. In the third, Beep Jones with a runner in scoring position, but the pop out is out number 3, courtesy of Sarah White, who makes blunderbuss out of that as well. More fourth inning right now. Cheyenne Bowman, the gap wedge to right field. That would set the table for Megan Boone. Going to step to the plate. And these highlights are a little quick, I apologize, but look at this. Squeezing one right through second base to score a run. It was a 2-run frame as Payson would build a 3-0 lead. Cheyenne Bowman just taking advantage of the wonderful, wonderful opportunity. You let her pitch from strength, you're not going to hit her. It's not going to happen, as anyone who will face her will attest. Then in the top of the fifth, did you hear me mention Kristen Luce? Not only last week with a mammoth home run, this one might be better to deep center field. Her second homer of the day. Kristen Luce playing as well as anybody in tri-state softball, maybe as well as anybody in the state. Time to get loose, Payson Seymour fans, because your team is a sectional champion for the first time ever and heading off to the Super Sectional on your home field by virtue of today's 4-0 win at Abingdon in adverse circumstances. Great stuff from Kristen Luce and company. They're rolling on to what should be the ultimate pitcher's battle with Calhoun at Payson Seymour, 4:30 on Monday in the Super Sectional. Calhoun loaded at pitching. Obviously, Cheyenne Bowman, really good. First 1-1 may win this game. By the way, Triopia, great season. You know, you got to feel bad for Elizabeth Wearies, who pitched a phenomenal game today, but Calhoun scratched out one and made it stand up. They get the victory over Triope. 1-0 was your final. On to baseball today. Quincy Notre Dame taking on Williamsville. QND looking to win its first sectional since 2005. Bases loaded in the third. Nick Reichert flies to center field. The guy in center field just about makes the catch of the year, but misses it off his glove. 3-run score. QND went from down 2-0 to up 3-2 thanks to Mr. Reichert. Next inning, QND down 4-3 again. Chris Martin calls for the squeeze. Well laid down. Chris Dietrich with a bunt. Zach Karstens comes home. We're tied up at 4 at that point. But the Bullets would break the tie. Bottom of the 6th, they would score 2 runs here. First, an RBI triple makes it 5-4, and the Raiders find themselves in trouble as that ball goes skying to center field and rolling all the way to the fence. Later, a sacrifice fly extends that lead out to 6-4. Quincy Notre Dame in big, big trouble, down to their final 3 outs in this ball game as Williamsville takes that lead. But you know what? Quincy Notre Dame, a team that wasn't supposed to be here, had struggles early, just keeps finding ways to stay alive. First, Nick Reichert here with another big hit, an RBI double to score runs. Dominic Miles, I should say, comes home to tie the game at 6 apiece. Then the infield ground out from Chris Dietrich may not be flashy, may not be spectacular. We'll show that to you here in a second. You're looking right here first. That was earlier, Zach Valey. Then this was Nick Reichert right here with the RBI double to make it 6-6. Here's Chris Dietrich breaking the tie, as you can see, with the ground out. But that's enough to get it done. 7-6 QND. How about this? The winning run is potentially at the plate right here for Williamsville, but the soft fly ball is the end of the threat, and Quincy Notre Dame has taken home a trophy, and they're heading to Lincoln Land by virtue of a 7-6 victory over Williamsville. The Raiders just keep finding ways to live on. They are your sectional champs at home. They will move on to take on a very good U-High team, which rallied today from a 3-1 deficit against Stanford Olympia to win that ball game 4-3. Quincy Notre Dame and U-High playing at the House of the Loggers, 3 o'clock on Monday. Those highlights, as well as Payson Seymour highlights, coming up on the 10 o'clock show on Memorial Day. More for you as well. We've got Griggsville Perry. Brock Rumpel taking on Pawnee, working on an absolute gem here. Locked in a scoreless tie through 4. Not many strikeouts from Brock today. Lots of pop-ups and some good, solid defense behind him. Ike Whitaker cleaning up nicely at third base right there. Top of the 5th, Dryden Craven would put the ball in play, and Pawnee butchers it. And that allows Griggsville Perry to start a rally in this one. Right here, it is Dryden Craven using that outstanding speed to steal a base, moving himself into scoring position. That would prove fortuitous, at least we thought, as Isaac Whitaker puts the ball in play. That's a single, my friends. Here comes Dryden Craven trying to score, but the right fielder with an absolute dart to home plate gets Craven, kills the rally. That was the first time anybody had passed second base the entire game. Pawnee dodges a bullet there. Pawnee trying to return fire. Look at this. Mitchell Main behind the plate, throwing out the attempted base runner. That young sophomore's got a gun. Cannon shot from that kid. Bottom of the 7th, still scoreless. Pawnee trying to put the ball in play. This is an error, and that would set the table for disaster. Bottom of the 7th, still scoreless. Matt Allen steps to the plate, goes the other way with the ball, and this run home is going to be too much. A walk-off single is the difference in the ball game. Pawnee's still alive. Griggsville Perry's fine season comes to an end. 1-0 was your final there. That's news. So too is this. There'll be a new state champion in Class 1A this year. Carrollton upset by Alton Marquette. Strange game today. Got to listen to some of it on the way home. Alton Marquette built a 6-0 lead. Carrollton came all the way back. Alton Marquette scored the go-ahead run off Joey Coonrod, who has like a .27 ERA. Somehow Carrollton ends up losing, and Marquette's moving on. 7-6 was your final there. Also, some regular season baseball scores to pass along today. Keokuk's opening season struggles continue. They lose to Fairfield 9-1 despite a solo home run from Bryce Rose. And Keokuk loses their second game, that to Van Buren. Final count in that one was 16-6. And we're just getting warmed up right here. When we come back on overtime, we're going to lace up the high tops and take it to the streets, Gus Macker style.
You're watching KHQA Overtime with Chris Dewar. Brought to you by Con Communications.
And welcome back to Overtime, everybody, where it's time once again for your Con Communications Connection of the Week. This is your chance to vote for the best sports coupling of the month, and simply by voting at the end of this month, which we're at, you, the viewer, becomes eligible to win a fantastic prize package from Con Communications. Democracy, it seems, has never been more rewarding. We already have 3 stellar offerings for May on the books. Here's your last contender, and it is a good one. State championship worthy from yesterday, Christian Locke. Remember the story of Christian Locke. Sophomore couldn't qualify, meet the minimum qualifier at state. Junior year ends up finishing 3rd. Yesterday wins the elusive state pole vaulting championship for the Hannibal Pirates. One more of Jimmy Coniglio's outstanding charges, doing the area right with his pole vaulting expertise. So your last nominee for the month, Christian Locke, meeting up with pole because it worked out well for him. I told you we had good nominees this month. Let's take a look back because I surmise on Tuesday you can go to connecttristates.com and cast your vote for the winner. And again, if you vote, there's a nice prize package waiting for you if you are the winner. But you have to kind of vote for the right nominees. So stuff the ballot and have all your friends do so in the honor of your favorite. They include Alex Bleckhand setting a new Unity high jump record at the conference meet up in beautiful Macomb. Evan McGaffey's towering home run against Macomb, maybe the longest home run we saw hit this entire season, at least baseball-wise. Kristen Luce's home run last week, which helped propel Payson Seymour to a regional championship victory over Liberty, and that, my friends, was no small shot either. And what you just saw, Christian Locke's outstanding state title-winning effort yesterday in the city of Jefferson, all for your perusal, all for your voting pleasure, coming up on Tuesday. Well, this is, in fact, Memorial Day weekend in the Gem City, and that means everyone, regardless of age, gender, and proximity to athletic prime, is both a baller and shot caller this week, Gus Macker style. We ourselves took it to the streets for just a bit this afternoon to bring you a bit of the flavor, basketball style. Enjoy. Good stuff indeed. And speaking of basketball, the Gem City's greatest round ball ambassador has found a new home for his annual Quincy Summer Camp. IHSA legend and former Fighting Illini great Bruce Douglas will be conducting his camp at the Kroc Center. That's July 9th through July 13th this summer, with a sign-up deadline looming quickly. I think it's June 29th. Bottom line, Bruce says he is thrilled to be able to take advantage of this brand spanking new resource in his hometown to help convey his message, both for basketball and into life.
This is the place it should be in, but this is awesome. Every time I come down here, I'm just amazed that out of all the places in the world, that there was a Kroc Center built right here in Quincy, and not a better place or more deserving, but it's still just an awesome piece of work. I'm a product of this community. I grew up here, and it was the people that invested in my life, the basketball and all the support. And to be able to come back and just show some appreciation for the goodness and the great gifts that God has bestowed on me, and then to share it with kids and to watch it grow, there's nothing more rewarding, nothing more fulfilling in your heart than to work with young people.
And again, for information, you can call the number 222-5762. That is a Illinois area code, 217. Again, 222-5762. You know, if I was married to a Kroc Center employee, I'd probably feel guilty about doing that story. But thank goodness that's not the case, right? Moving on now, with the spring season winding down and the dog days of summer right on top of us, I've decided the only real thing that will get me through the next 3 months, other than copious amounts of golf and vacation, is the looming promise of high school football. So we're not going to wait until August to start talking about it. In fact, on our Facebook page, we've already begun polling you and getting your opinion as to certain aspects of the coming football season. We started today talking about running backs. We've had our poll up for a couple of days now. Again, that's at my Facebook page. And right now, among all area running backs who are returning next season, you, our viewing public, believes Dalton Hubner out of Central Southeastern will lead the area in rushing yardage, ahead of, in second place, Bryce Budrew out of Clark County, who actually is my pick for many of the same reasons that made Justin Alderton an 1,800-yard rusher a couple of years ago. Also, Malik Robbins from Quincy High came in third, and Trevor Roth out of Keokuk currently in fourth. Again, we'll be posting those polls throughout the month of June and July and doing copious amounts of high school football talk. Yes, on the webpage, on Twitter, and again at Facebook on my page. So go there. If you like to talk high school football, we like to talk high school football too.